Yeah, speak up. Sit up straight.
Well, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. This is Reverend Lawrence Sefa with Cities of Hope Ministry. And thank you for tuning in to another program of A Greater Understanding. We have with us
Wayne Tierney from Food for Thought Ministries.
Yeah, we got a special show for you today. Even though we are broadcasting to the world, we have a special show in the city of Flint. We have an individual that's not a politician running for an office, very well known here in the States and also in Michigan. His name is Jesse Couch. He's running for the 69th district for the State House of Representatives, state of Michigan. And just stay tuned and you'll learn more about Jesse.
I stand amazed at the way Jesus loves me. I stand amazed at the way that He cares.
Well, good morning, afternoon, and good evening, and thank you for tuning in to another program of A Greater Understanding. Today, we have a special treat for you, an individual that is running for a political office here in the great city of Flint, Michigan, which you all know we mentioned is the site of the largest end-time revival in the history of the world. The world is going to come to Flint, and we are in the middle of Genesee County, not Genesee, Genesee County. Just a few things that we do. Brother Wayne, what is a greater understanding?
Greater understanding is the more that you seek out God, the greater understanding you'll have of Him.
Wow, that's so true. And tonight we have a Bible study that I do for Mount Hermon Ministries. I was the one that originated Mount Hermon Ministries many years ago, and it's headed up by Larry and Stephanie Razik. And tonight's topic at 6 p.m. to 7:30 Eastern Standard Time, for those who want to tune in, you can dial 701-802-5180. That's 701-802-5180. And then when required, you put the access code 6344132 #. That's 6344132 #. The topic tonight is, what is our authority as a believer in the kingdom of God? What is our authority? And then we're doing, what do we do on Thursday? We have a Bible study, and that Bible study is actually in the driveway of one of Stephanie and Larry Razik, and that is at 1012 Vermilya, Vermilya, Flint, Michigan, 48507. That is 1012 Vermilya, Vermilya, Flint, Michigan, 48507. And then on Saturday, what do we do, Brother Wayne?
On Saturday, we have a radio program on WSNL. Starts at now I forgot that
12 o'clock.
I forgot the time. 12 to 12:15 on Saturday.
And that's jam-packed. This Saturday, we're going to talk about, why does the resurrection matter to us believers? Why does it matter to us believers? And you want to know how to tune in? Well, I sent a link as far as Afghanistan, and there's U.S. citizens watching it because they were left over from Biden leaving abruptly. But anyways, that's neither here nor there. Probably 4 billion of you that have the ability to watch us have what is called a smartphone. It could be an Android. It could be an iPhone. And you can go to WSNL Christian Talk 600 AM and get that link, and then share that link with everyone and yourself, and try and turn it on about maybe 15 to 12. That way you don't miss our program. And that is, why does the resurrection matter to us as believers? Well, today we have Jesse Couch, and he's running for a political position, but he's not a politician. He is what our forefathers would say, the perfect person to run for office. Politicians, perhaps, they would run, and what do? They fill their pockets. They get rich, right, Brother Wayne?
They retire.
They retire. Or they ask for favors from others.
The word politician actually means a policymaker.
A policy maker.
Policymaker is they're this idea of where you get the idea that politics are people that are in for money and all that. That's not what it's for. It's what it's for is for policy making, and that's what a politician is. It's a person that makes
Brother Wayne,
policies.
do you know how you know if a politician is lying?
Well, I'm sure
Their
that
lips are moving.
we live in because we live in a fallen world here, and we have evil out there.
Yeah.
That's why it's important for us to make sure that when we vote for people, that we vote for people that are Christians, total Christians, not people that just say they are, but one that dedicates his life to the Lord and put him in office. Or her.
Yes.
Because the Bible says that when the righteous rule, the people rejoice.
And when the wicked rule, the people groan.
moan.
And you know what groaning is? Praying in tongues. Get them out of office. But anyways, we are supposed to, according to these 66 books that we have, which is called the Holy Bible, we are to pray for our leaders regardless.
Right.
Whoever wins, we're to pray for our leaders because, when some of the presidential people got voted in, you know what I did? I prayed for that they receive Jesus Christ, their Lord and Savior. And you'll get the opportunity, everyone, at the end of our program to receive Jesus Christ, your Lord and Savior.
And also, we'd like to remind everybody that if you have a question for Jesse, you can call us and ask Jesse your question. My number is area code 810-919-2540.
What's that, Brother Wayne?
That's 810-919-2540.
Or you can call All Points TV at 810-250-7365. That's 810-250-7365. It's better to call this number first at All Points TV. That way you'll get right on. And if that line is busy, which it generally gets jammed, you want to call the other numbers. You can call my number, Reverend Lawrence Adele Sefa, Cities of Hope Ministry, at 513-512-3200. And as a backup phone, it is 513-616-6733. Well, let's talk to Jesse.
Yeah.
Jesse, tell us about yourself.
Well, gosh, there's not much to tell. I'm not a politician.
Well, Jesse, let me say this about Jesse, because I've known Jesse for a long time. He's like my
I know
brother,
Jesse
for
before
God's
you
sake.
did, Brother Wayne.
Huh?
Let's don't
I knew
argue.
Jesse
Now,
before you.
let's don't fight.
Well, anyway, what I'm saying is Jesse was a country singer around Flint, Michigan. He's a member of the Michigan Country Music Hall of Fame,
Yes.
Yes.
and he's made some records, and I just love that song, All the Reason.
Oh,
I don't know why you don't ever sing it, but it's such a beautiful song.
The reason is back in the day, we didn't make soundtracks out of our.
Mhm.
We stored them, and I stored mine in Roy Orbison's place, and Roy died, and his place transferred to someone else. But anyway, it burnt down, and it burned up all my.
Wow.
So I really don't have the music for it. The background music, and just to sing it with a guitar, it don't have the same effect. All the reasons.
Well, you know what
so many reasons for being in love, and all the reasons. I could sing that to Jesus.
Can't you take the song
Couldn't I
itself
sing that to Jesus?
True, yes.
Yeah.
from, because I watch it all the time when you're at Whiting
Yeah.
doing video,
Yeah.
and I watch it all the time. Now, can't you take that song and then take the voice out of it, and then you got the track?
Well, I've tried to do that, and you can't take it out because it's in the center. It's not on the left, it's not on the right, it's in the center. So if you take it out, it leaves the voice on one of the two tracks.
Well,
you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, nowadays, Jesse is running for state representative. He's changed his tune. He's singing a different song.
Yeah, for the 69th district. And Brother Wayne, aren't you in the 69th district?
Yes, I am.
Who are you going to vote for?
The other guy.
Okay. You want to have him a couple of votes because Jesse's going to have a landslide.
Who you going to vote for?
Yes. But tell us about what you're going to do when you become a state representative.
Well,
I know you're going to go to Lansing.
yes, I'm going to go to Lansing a lot, and we're going to go over there and we're going to pray that we can turn this state around.
Okay.
Genesee County. I'm from Genesee County.
Yeah.
And it's composed of Clayton Township, Clio, Flint Township, Flushing Township, Montrose Township, Mount Morris, Mount Morris Township, and Swartz Creek. So if you live in those areas,
That's your district.
yep, that's my district.
Wow.
And you can vote for me. The primary, I'm already in.
Yeah, when's the primary start? When's it?
August 2nd.
August the 2nd. That's
when-
good.
That's when
For
they
the
vote.
Democrats.
Huh?
Right? For the Democrat primary?
No, it's for the primary.
For everybody.
For everybody.
Yes, for the Republicans and the Democrats. And that's August 2nd. And then the general election is November 8th. So you look like
So I don't understand if it's in August, you've already got the Republican nod, right?
yeah, because nobody's running
Okay,
against
so it has to be the Democrats that are doing the August 2nd primary.
Well, it would be the Democrats
Yeah.
in my case.
Yeah, it'd be the
Because I'm
Democrats,
already-
and then the general election, whoever wins in the primary from the Democrats will
Yeah.
go on to the
Well,
general election.
But I got a question for you, Jesse. When
Yep.
you get there to Lansing, right?
Yep.
And we know that it's very serious. We're believing that Jane Roe versus Wade at the U.S. Supreme Court is going to be turned down, and that's the baby murdering
Amen.
law that was created back in 1973. And actually, Jane Roe came out last November and said she was lied to and used to create that. The thing is, Jesse, we know that it's going to go back to the states and it's going to be overturned because we did interview Mindy and Benny,
Yeah.
Denny Theo, who have what is called the moral outcry right here. We interviewed him on both of them on a greater understanding.
That was super.
And they have a bill before the U.S. Supreme Court, which is called the moral outcry, about 500,000+ signatures on that bill.
Wow.
And it was sent to Washington. And I met them at the National Day of Prayer in Lansing last summer. Okay. But the thing is, we know it's going to be overturned. We know that the state of Michigan, it is illegal right now to have an abortion if that bill in Washington is gone. Now, they're going to try to overturn that here in the state. You're going to be there in the legislature as a representative.
Right.
When that bill comes in to the House, how are you going to vote on that? Are you going to vote to have it overturned and that abortions are legal?
Sure, I am.
Or are you going to say that overturned, that no abortions are not legal?
They're not legal.
Not legal.
Yes,
So-
God created that life.
That's right.
That's right.
And I believe that regardless of the condition, I think that that baby should be born.
Right, right. You know, all of us at one time were in a mother's womb.
Yes, we were.
And thank God that our mothers that were here sanctified life and cared about life. Otherwise, we may not have been here.
Well, I think
That's true.
You know, I think that personally, abortion is the reason why you got so much murders going on now with all these kids going in and killing other kids and stuff. I believe the reason is because of the fact of abortion. Since 1973, how many millions and millions and millions of babies have been murdered through abortion? And what we're doing is we're teaching our young people that you don't have to sanctify life.
No.
If you can't protect life in the womb and respect it, you're not going to respect it outside of it.
Well, that's true. That's
Yeah,
true. Wayne.
That's right.
Yeah.
You know,
And-
those policies, Brother Wayne, started to change in 1960. And I think, Jesse, you might remember that in 1960, where the liberals changed the educational system, went into the schools, went into the businesses,
Yep.
went into everything to overturn the sanctity of life. And the thing is, isn't that an agenda with the United Nations, Jesse? What do they call that, Brother Wayne? The 2030? What is it?
Oh, Agenda 2020. Yeah.
Yeah, and now it's
Now it's Agenda 2030.
2030. And what is that for? They're trying to save the world. There's just not enough food, not enough oil.
Well, Agenda 2030 was started by a guy. He was commissioned by the United Nations in the early 80s to come up with a program for the sustainability of the earth in the 21st century.
Yeah.
They came back with a plan, and the UN sat on it. And then in 1992, they had a world summit in Argentina.
Mm-hmm.
Or it was
Argentina. Yeah.
And anyway, our president was there. I think it was Bush.
George H. Bush.
Was there.
Go ahead.
And at that time, the main speaker was Bernie Strong, who created this
Agenda 20.
Agenda 21 thing.
Yeah.
And so at that time, the nations were mostly voluntary in the thing. And
Yeah.
basically what I did is they want to depopulate the earth by 80%.
I heard that 9 billion people is supposed to be reduced to 800 million.
Yeah, that's. I think they said there's a stone or something, someplace, I can't remember where it is, where they have a list of what they want to
Georgia.
do.
It's in
And
Georgia.
it's written
In
stone.
Georgia. In Georgia.
Well, here.
Yeah.
Yeah, what was you going to say there,
The
John?
stone is in Georgia.
Yeah, oh, the stones in Georgia?
Yeah.
It's the stones in Georgia. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
They've covered
What is it, 10 million? Is it 10 million they want, or
I
50
can't remember all the
million?
numbers. They just basically want it was over a third they wanted to reduce it by. They want
Yeah.
yeah. And I mean it's over. I mean it's
So-
unrealistic and it's horrifying. But
Folks, that's John Wilson chiming in
So,
with facts.
so what I'm saying is that this is a move of Satan. This is
You mean
Satan.
Satan doesn't care about life?
Oh, of course not. But I believe what's happening here is that Satan, ever since Genesis, when he tried taking over the earth and trying to take over God, he's been trying to do that ever since.
Brother Wayne, I'm a conspiracy theorist. I think it started in the Garden of Eden, just like you.
Yeah. So anyway, I think that's what's happening here. That's the move of Satan, is he wants to take over the place that God has now by getting rid of the Christianity, so that the people don't have God to look to; they got Him to look to.
You know, Brother Wayne?
You guys are so knowledgeable.
Yeah, you know how you help. Yeah.
Huh?
You're so knowledgeable.
Oh, Wayne is. I'm just his sidekick. But anyways, the thing is, to hurt a father God, how do you do that?
What's that?
How do you hurt Father God? Satan knows the way, by hurting his children.
His children. Oh,
His
yeah.
children. That's us. We are the children of the Most High God, right, Jesse?
Yes, sir.
Now, if another bill comes in, Jesse, to the and we know that you're gonna have these bills come to the House. The one what we talked about was abortion, and because after it's overturned in the federal government, it's going to be right there
Now let's
in
just
the House of
pray.
Representatives.
Let's just pray that it's over.
Oh, it will be. It will be. The thing is, the reason they released that decree of the U.S. Supreme Court early was because they wanted to put pressure on those judges. But you know, when
leaked it.
Donald J. Trump was president, he put people in there that are conservative, that care the right to life. You know, I can't believe that a Christian that believes in the right to life would support someone that wants to murder babies.
I can't either.
So another bill that's going to be before you, we know these are going to happen in the House. Another bill is for energy. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
And right now, the fuel prices are so low out there. I heard that in New York, the fuel oil is $15 a gallon for fuel oil. You know, and what that does is they're adding that on the fuel oil, the truckers, to the price of the goods and services that we get. And that is creating more inflation.
diesel fuel.
Diesel fuel, yes. And it creating more inflation. Why? Because they want to slow down the economy. They want us to be dependent on the state.
Yeah.
Now, if a bill comes before you to increase drilling gas and oil in Michigan, what are you going to vote on?
I'm voting for it.
Voting for it.
Yes.
Okay. You're not going to be like our present politician there in Washington, Joe Biden, that cut the pipelines and wanted us to be dependent on foreign oil. You know the game about that? My dad did an oil deal one time, $88.5 million on a 5-year lift, okay, from Saudi Arabia. He knew King Faisal, and he also knew Malik Fahd, who became king. That was Saudi Arabia's Saud's son. But why do they want to be dependent on foreign oil, Jesse? Is because they can play games on the bill of lading. By the time it leaves where it's drilled to the refinery, it may be sold 1 million times, and everybody adds their price to it.
Oh, yeah.
But you know, in the States, when Donald J. Trump made us, I mean, just we had oil we can sell to the world because they have a ticker and they have a number on that well, and you can't play games with the income tax and have money on offshore on wells that are drilled domestically. And that's the whole problem. That's
Well,
why
we need the states. I think we need the states to stand up against the federal government. Sometimes the states have to declare that the federal government doesn't have rights to do what they have to do with states, because it's under the Constitution that the states are separate from.
I heard that they're
From the federal
separate,
government.
autonomous.
Huh?
I heard that the state of Michigan can declare war on Ohio. You know, they're separate, autonomous. I don't believe in federalism. I believe in states' rights, and that's the way the Constitution.
Well, that is
written.
federalism.
Yes.
That is
Yes.
federalism.
I heard that Biden is behind this oil price because they want to do away with gasoline
Right.
cars.
Right.
They want you to buy these electric cars for
Right.
$60,000.
Right.
You know, and you're still going to have to plug them in.
Yeah.
So the electricity has to come from someplace. But I heard that I mean, that's, of course, I hear a lot of things, but I heard that Biden is, and the Democrats are behind this so that they can sell these electric cars to people.
Well, you keep in mind, people don't know this, but 80% of the electricity is created from coal.
Yeah.
And they're cutting back on coal.
Oh, they
Mining
want,
coal.
they want to get rid of all the fossil fuels.
But
Yeah,
that creates
all of them.
electricity, Brother Wayne. The coal, 80% is used to create
They-
electricity.
they
Where are they going to
believe-
plug it in?
They believe that you should get rid of cows because when they fart, it does something to the atmosphere.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
That's true.
Methane gas. Yeah.
methane gas. Yeah.
But you know, between you and I, Jesse, so if a bill comes before you in the House, the 69th district, you're going to represent these townships, okay, that you're going to vote against abortion,
Amen.
right?
I am.
Sanctity of life, and
Right.
also for fuel, okay, for gas and things like that. You're going to vote that we can have more drilling out there in places where they're trying to protect the, the tree huggers.
Yep.
So that's good. What other things are you going to help?
I think the
us
question here is, what are you going to do for the people?
Yes, that's for the
What are you
people.
going to do for the people?
Yeah.
That's what I'm going to do for the people. I'm going to vote against abortion. That's for the people.
There's
Yes.
there's
I'm
another
going-
thing that we have to consider also,
What's that?
and there's a
Brother?
bill out there that requires federal government to overtake the voting in states
the
and-
mail-in ballots.
and stuff. And therefore, the states should be standing up for their right to count their own ballots.
I think we should have voter ID. I really.
That's
think.
right.
Voter ID, good.
Amen.
Good.
Amen
I
on
signed.
that
I
one.
signed a signature thing to have voter ID on the ballot.
I
That's
did too.
important.
I think if I had to show it ID to cash a check, or for all the things that I have to show my driver's
At the
license
bank?
for- At the bank, yeah. Then we should have to have a voter ID to vote. And I want to get rid of the darn boxes. These.
Oh
they-
yeah,
You
where
know,
they put the ballots in
yeah,
there.
did you see that movie, 20,000?
2,000
2,000
mules.
mules. You know what my Uncle Fred would have called it? Not 2,000 mules, but 2,000 jackasses. That's what he would have called it.
I think we should have same day voting. I don't think we should vote here and vote there and vote and then hold it up.
Eliminate the ballot or go into the mailbox.
So at the end of the voting day, the ballots are counted.
Yeah.
I mean, we can't just count until the other side wins.
That's what they do. and if you're a senior, handicapped person, okay, they'll send you a voting thing,
Yeah.
and you mail it back in, but not what they're doing now. I heard a story about one lady that she had 11 kids living with her, but they all moved out.
Yeah.
But she got 11 ballots,
Mm.
and they filled them out and mailed them back in.
They filled them out, the mules, the jackasses.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right.
Okay. All right.
And I think.
Everybody knows you're gonna be conservative on the ticket.
Yeah.
You're not gonna be a liberal.
No, I'm not.
Yeah.
No.
You're gonna be a
The
liberal.
only problem I have, Jesse.
You have a problem, Brother Wayne?
Yeah, there's one problem I
never knew
have.
him to have a problem.
Yeah, this is the problem I have. Usually people that run for office, as you are for Republican, they have to go along with what the Republican wants. Who's ever controlling of the House, whatever they want. Now, what happens if you turn around and you're standing up for abortion, and then the Republicans want? Of course, I'd never have this ever happen, but let's just suppose that it did. That the Republican Party wants you to vote for the abortion, and even though you disagree with it, how are you
gonna
going to
vote,
stand against
Jesse?
that?
How will you vote?
How are you going to stand against the power that wants you to do what they want you to do?
Shouldn't you vote what the people want you to do?
Yes, that's
Shit,
what you're
I
gonna
mean,
do.
that-
That, you're,
aren't you
that's right.
working-
That's a good answer.
Aren't you working for the people?
Yeah.
That I think that's the problem right now is these people get in there and all they think about is money. They think about my pocketbook and they forget about you and me and Wayne and the thousands of people that are listening to us out there. They forget about that. And so I think you should vote what your your people
People want.
want you to vote.
Now,
with your heart.
I know you're gonna have an office in Lansing,
Yes.
but you're also gonna have an office here locally in one of these townships where the people will be able to come and see you. You'll have a number where they can call you. A lot of them have needs
Yep.
beyond just the two major needs that we talked about, or the third one, you were talking about mail-in ballots.
Yep.
You know, the mail-in ballots, I think they should have mail-in ballots. You know why? Because the people in the cemeteries, when they want to get to the polls, it's difficult for them to get there. So that they get the mail-in ballots, people that are in the cemetery, they can vote once a year,
That's good.
It's difficult for them to get to the polls.
I like that.
Yeah, yeah. But those other issues, we know that you're a man of God.
Yes, I am.
And we actually, Brother Wayne and I had seen you preach. What church was that you go to?
It's his church, I think.
Sean Baptist.
Sean Baptist?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Up on Genesee Road.
Yeah. And you know what I like about being with you, Jesse? After church, we'd go to a restaurant. This is square business. And Brother Wayne and I got there early. We like to be early.
Yeah.
That way, watch the help come in. When you get early, you see the help come in.
Mhm.
And then Jesse Couch walks in.
Oh, God.
You know what? And who you with? I'm just right. They got a table. They were having us wait in the front because they didn't know us from Adam. But when Jesse Couch walked in, those people knew him and they took us right to the table.
That is one of the perks.
Perks of knowing Jesse Couch. So you folks out there.
Well, Jesse's got a lot of name recognition.
Yes, he does.
That I would think that even his opponent wished he had. That kind of
I think so.
name recognition, and not only the name recognition, but also the respect that people have for you as a singer.
Yes.
And a lot of these politicians wish they had something like that.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah.
They really do.
Yeah.
And that's one of the things about this district that I'm running for. It's a new district. They redistrict everything. Every 10 years, they redistrict.
Right.
Based on population.
Based on
Yeah.
Population,
census,
yes.
And so nobody has this district right now. If they do, I don't know. There's no incumbent. So
Okay.
I'm running. I'll be running against a Democrat that probably not a politician either. I don't know.
Jesse, could you mention the districts for our hearing public? A lot of you are not in Michigan. You're all over the world. A lot of you here, you may be in the United States, but you have relatives in these townships.
yeah.
So mark them down that you can motivate those relatives to vote for a godly man, a man of God, Jesse Couch. And what townships are there?
Well, let's start with Clayton Township,
Clayton.
and then there's Clio, Michigan,
Yeah.
Flint Township, Flushing Township, Montrose, if you're writing these down.
Yeah, mark them down.
Montrose Township.
Oh, here we got a call.
Hello there.
Let's see who that is.
Mount Morris Township.
Hello, you're on the air.
Put the speaker. Speaker. Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, I can hear you.
It's a greater understanding.
Yes.
Thank you for calling in.
Now, once Jesse gets called into office, how does he plan to stay in touch with his the people that
Constituents, his people. Yeah, how do you plan on staying in touch with your people once you're in office?
I mean, it's real easy to get. I mean, it's not easy, but I expect you to get into office. How are you going to continue to serve your people? I mean, do you call them? Do you go knocking on doors?
yeah,
Flyers. If you'll address that, I'd appreciate it. So I'm going to hang up and let you talk.
Thank you very much.
You're not going to be the type of politician that they'll only see him
Now-
when it's election time.
What that caller in asked was, how is Jesse Couch gonna be with his constituents? How's he gonna talk to them? What are you gonna do, Jesse, to keep in touch with
I
them?
wish we got her name. Well,
Name is Emily.
Emily,
Yeah. That
thank
shows
you.
up on the caller ID.
Thank
Go ahead.
you. Thank you for calling. I really appreciate it. And I'm going to do the best I can to stay in touch. Of course, you can't stay in touch with all those people. They have to come to you if they have a problem.
Mhm.
They call you. They come to that. We'll have an open door. You can come in and tell us your problem, and we'll take care of them. We'll do the best we can. Not being a politician, I can't lie to you and tell you that. Oh, don't you worry about a thing. We're going to do everything we can to stay in touch with everybody we can.
You're only one person, right? Yes.
That's right.
You know, though, Jesse, in those townships, you are the one person
Yeah, you're
for
right.
them, right?
Right.
And what you should do is possibly put billboards up, hand out flyers, be there at the 4th of July gatherings and things like that. Not just to be reelected, but to be the man for the people.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Reverend, you're right. They anyway, I hope that answers your question, Emily. And
Well, have you got any events coming up? Like any?
Yeah.
I'll be in the Swartz Creek Parade, and that's to get my name out there, And I'll also be in the Flushing Parade. They have arranged for me to be in all these different parades,
Okay.
Okay.
so that the people know that I am running, and
Right.
because you can't.
So after you've won, you don't bother to go in those parades, or you gotta
No,
be?
you got.
You know who lives out there in Flushing, don't you?
Yeah.
Huh?
Gleason.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. You know
John.
what? Mount Rose, I heard, is the blueberry capital of Michigan,
It is.
and they have a blueberry festival.
Yes, they do, and I'll be there.
You'll be there.
You played the Blueberry Festival.
I
haven't you?
have, yes, several times.
That's beautiful. And a lot of these people will know you from being in the karaoke.
Well, not just karaoke. You used to have bands all over
Bands
the
all
place.
Oh yeah, I played all over. I opened for Willie Nelson. I opened for
Willie Nelson, you
Yes,
opened for?
in Detroit. Yeah, the Detroit.
Yeah,
area.
Bill Clinton liked Willie Nelson.
Did he? Oh
Yeah, they smoked the joint on top of the White
They
House.
smoked the same thing.
Yeah, same thing.
I heard you.
But they don't inhale, though.
Well, that's true. And I heard you don't smoke pot with Willie.
No,
No, so
you get stoned.
You know, I'm going to say this to you, Jesse, because I believe
Willie
that
was in my club one night.
He was in your
Yeah.
club, Willie?
Yeah.
I was going to say this to you because I believe it's something that the Lord was beginning to show me. Was that when I was working at Buick, and I just started getting into politics, this guy come up to me and said, "Wayne," he says, "why don't you run for office?" And I said, "Well, right now I'm in the praise and worship team of my church, and that's where God's lead me right now."
Yeah.
And but I went back to and I want you to listen to me on what I'm going to say.
Okay.
I went back to work, and the Lord spoke to me, and He told me, He said, "I want you to check out David."
David.
So
David who?
in the Bible, David.
Oh, David, King of
Yeah,
Israel.
right.
Okay.
And so
Father of Solomon.
So anyway, I looked it up and started reading on it. And do you know that I realized, I believe the Lord was showing me that David was a musician before he ever became a king.
Wow.
Before he became what?
Before he ever became king. In
Oh,
other words,
yeah,
he
wasn't.
He played for
he
Solomon.
played music. He
Yeah.
was a musician.
Yeah.
He played music and sang. But yet that was a precursor to going into politics.
Well, then that was
I
good for
never-
Jesse.
Yeah, I never
Being a
thought of that.
precursor for going into politics is singing.
I'm not comparing myself with David, my God.
No, I'm just no. What I'm
But I
saying.
understand what you're saying. I understand that.
I like
Yeah.
what you mentioned in WSNL. Jesse's singing a new tune now.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's
I'm glad to see him running, but I think that he's got an uphill battle because of the
Oh.
fact that Genesee County, that what you would represent, is mostly Democrat.
but that's changing, Wayne.
Is it?
Yeah, it is. Biden and his Democrats have screwed up this world so bad
Right.
that
The world?
Well, yeah, the things that they do affects the whole world.
The whole world.
So you're
Yeah.
saying that it's filtered down from the federal to the local?
Yeah, I think it is. But I think the people, Emily, listening out there, are realizing, hey, what they're doing is screwing up our economy. I mean, like you said, it costs me now $100 to fill up my gas tank.
Yeah,
Yeah.
$100. It used to cost me 50,
yeah.
and before that, it used to cost me 5. I remember.
Where's that extra money go?
Uh,
Is Biden collecting? The big guy gets
Goes the
10%?
oil company.
No. His son said the big guy gets 10%.
oh yeah. I wonder what they're going to do with his son.
You should put him in prison, both of them.
I heard they will,
Yeah.
and then Biden will pardon him.
Yeah. Well, you know what? Let me tell you.
Kerry's son's involved with this too.
Yep.
Yeah.
He
Yeah,
is.
Gary's son.
Nobody mentions it much, but yes, he is.
Yeah.
But you know what those politicians are doing, the liberals? They should hang them right on the front of the White House. They should be hung for treason because they're sold out to the Chinese Communist Party, the CCP.
Yep.
You know, the head of the CCP is telling them exactly what to do.
Yep.
You know why? Because he's bought and paid for it. It's according to one of our things in Proverbs that was written by Solomon, okay, the son of King David, king of Israel also, is that the borrower or the one that's bought is slave to the lender, the one that gives the money. So they're borrowed that money from them and they're slave to them.
You know, that's true.
They're bought.
That's one of the things I would like to run against is when people are voting. You can't contribute $140 million to some candidate. You know, I mean, that's ridiculous. Somebody, that was Zuckerberg.
Yeah.
Yeah, he contributed all those $1 million just to get his party. You know, and
Wow.
that should not be allowed. And I think we have a lot of-
Whitmer, as far as I'm concerned, should be impeached. She's the one that started her, along with the FBI,
Yeah.
on the plot to kidnap her. She
Oh,
was involved with
she
that.
was part of that.
She was part of all that.
Yeah.
She was part of the FBI wanted to set this up so that that there was a plot to kidnap her and stuff.
From the
and they were
lawman
going
organization,
after they were
lawmen.
going after conservative people that believed in the Second Amendment, and that's who they went after and charged this on them. That's what they do. That's what this FBI does, and what they do is they find these people like that, these group of people, and then they turn around and start making up stuff about them.
Do you know she loved that COVID. Do you know what her claim to fame was to become governor? Her father was big in the Blue Cross and Blue Shield. Her father.
Mm-hmm.
And she had the money to get there. You know, I like what they did to her husband. He's trying to get his boat out.
Right.
And he says, do you know that the governor is my wife?
Right.
And you know what happened? They probably just recently got his boat out 2 years ago when he wanted to get it out.
Well,
But you know, all joking aside, Jesse, I've known you for a long time, and you've always been an honorable man, an ethical man, a man of God. I always see you in places where you're in your church and you care about family. You've got a nice family. Tell us about your family.
oh, I've got a wonderful family. My wife we've been together for 40-something years, and she's always backed me. She's always had my back, and she guides me. She leads me.
What's your wife's name?
Susie.
Susie, and what is she doing? I heard she won an election
She is. She's a trustee for Mott College.
for Mott College
Yeah,
University.
and you know what? She won that. It's funny because her name is Janet. Susie's not her real name.
Oh,
Her daddy called her my little Susie Q, and that's stuck around, you know.
Susie Q from the song Susie Q.
No.
No, okay.
But she won that position
Hmm.
without putting up a sign. She put $300 into a radio commercial, and she got more votes than anybody else.
Wow.
And she won that position. She's fabulous, and she prays constantly.
Yeah.
She's a lady.
She's a woman of God.
Yes.
And do you have any children, Jesse?
Yeah, I've got a son.
What's
Eddie-
his name?
Eddie,
Eddie.
and
And what does he do?
he does everything.
Okay.
He was a cement driver for years, drove one of those big trucks,
Mm-hmm.
and he got into his own business. Right now he's doing lawns and all this stuff, but not like me with my boy. He's doing them on a big scale,
Big scale.
and his wife works for the car company up there on Western Road.
So here in Genesee County.
Yeah.
Your children.
Yeah.
And you have any daughters?
Well, actually, they live in Miller.
Yeah. Any daughters?
Yep, I got 2 daughters.
2 daughters. What's their names?
Dana.
Dana,
My
is that
oldest.
the oldest?
Oh, Dana is so smart.
Yeah.
Oh, she is.
Yeah,
yes.
she is so
She's sharp.
smart.
And what does she do?
She's part of the chair for the Genesee Republican Party.
Wow.
She's
part of
what?
the chair.
She's chairman?
Part of the chair.
Not chairman, no. Matthew Smith is chair. Matthew Smith is the chairman, and Dana is his left hand.
Okay.
or
And
right
what does
hand.
she do when she's not in politics? Is that all she does?
Well, that's pretty much. She's a realtor. She sells
Realtor?
real estate.
Here in Genesee County.
Mhm.
Well, she's running
Okay.
for office too.
Yeah, she's running for office.
For
too.
what office?
Is she running again?
She's running for county commissioner.
County commissioner.
Yeah.
Yeah, or Mount Morris?
It would have
Genesee
to be
County.
Genesee. It would have to be Genesee.
Genesee County?
Yeah. And,
Yeah.
and your other daughter, what does she do?
She's
And her name?
She's on her name is Danielle,
Danielle,
and she's on the school board, Mount Morris.
School
and she's
board.
also on a planning commission,
planning commission.
and she's very involved with that. So we're involved.
So you got a
in-
son and
So
2
you have
daughters,
a very political
right?
family.
And a wife, and you're there to serve the people of Genesee County. It looks like your family is to serve the people of Genesee County.
really, I've been serving the people in Genesee County for years.
Yeah,
With my band and stuff like that, playing for benefits
yeah.
and playing for all the different things that we raise money for different organizations and
What's
stuff.
some of the organizations you've raised money for, Jesse? Let the people know.
UAW.
Yeah, the UAW, Sheriff Joe Wilson. I raised
Joe
money for,
Wilson,
and for the
he was
judges.
a friend of my dad, Joe Wilson. Yeah.
I like Joe. And Pacal.
Sheriff
and-
Pacal.
And
Good man.
Weiss, Bob Weiss, who's passed on now, but
Bob Weiss,
yeah, he was a prosecutor.
prosecutor.
But all these people, see, they're
And you've raised money for them.
raised money, yeah. Help.
What organizations, as far as helping the people, like that you've raised money for over the years?
Oh God,
Medical and things.
yeah, we were co-chairman with one of the TV stars, with Jerry's Kids.
Oh, Jerry Lewis.
And we did it in Vegas.
Yeah.
They flew us
Oh,
out
you
to-
were on that Vegas?
Yeah, they flew us out to Vegas and oh God, Reverend, I've done so many things. It's hard to remember though.
Yeah.
It really is.
But your whole family, you're a family,
Yep, we are.
not a politicians,
No.
but you're a family that serves the people of Genesee County.
Yes, we do.
So if they vote for you as a state representative, you're going to carry that to Lansing
That's it.
and represent the people of Genesee.
He's what we call a patriot.
Patriot, yes.
Patriot.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah,
I like it.
he's
Yeah,
a
if you vote for me, actually, you're voting for yourself because that's what I am concerned with is taking care of my people.
well, Jesse's always been a type of person that's always out there thinking of people, because I can remember you used to do concerts and stuff at old folks' homes.
Yeah, I did.
And
Senior
yeah,
citizens home.
yeah.
I did.
Well, senior citizens home. But I can remember you doing that kind of stuff for the people, for those that couldn't come out and hear you,
Right.
You go to them.
and you went to them. Yeah.
I've done several concerts at the Whiting Auditorium. And the first one I did there was for Michael Moore.
Michael.
Michael
Yes,
Moore.
some-
Yeah, you know, I went to school with him.
Oh, did you?
I graduated in 71. He graduated in 72 from Davidson High School.
You
And
said-
you know, he was a friend of my brother Terry.
Yeah.
And he many times was on my mom and dad's dining room table because he loved my mom's cooking.
Oh,
Yeah.
they should have.
He lives on Torch Lake up there.
They should have done something to
He's
straighten
still
him
a
up.
farmer. Yeah, well,
But-
when he hung around with Terry, see, you hung around with Mark, you were good, okay, and kind and this and that. You hung around with Terry, you're a renegade.
Oh,
Yeah, that's
Well,
how that worked in my family.
I was doing a radio show with Dave Barber, and you guys know
Dave
Dave.
Barber,
Yeah,
yes.
remember Dave? I was doing a radio show with him, and Michael called and said, "I'm in trouble."
He died just, what was it, last year or something?
A couple years ago.
David Barber.
Oh,
Dave Barber.
Yeah, several years ago.
Yeah.
He anyway, Michael called David and said, "I'm in trouble," and he said, "What?" He said, my star for my show I was doing at the Whiting for the kids died. He got killed. The guy that's saying Cats in the
Harry Chapin. Harry Chapin.
Yeah, Harry Chapin. Cats in the
Chapin.
Cradle. Yeah.
Harry Chapin, yeah. So I'm sitting there listening to this, and Dave said, "Well, I've got Jesse Couch here with me. He'd probably help you out." And so Michael asked me, "Could you do that for me?" And I said, "Yeah." So we did it at the Whiting Auditorium and it was for the kids, benefit for Davidson kids. I never, matter of fact, it cost me money to do the show.
That's beautiful.
Because when I got there, after all this trouble, all this things that I've done for the union, I got there and the guy said, "You're not going to play this show." And I said, "Why?" He said, "Because you're not a union man." I said, "Move over. I'm going to do this show for these kids."
Yeah.
And he said, "No, it cost me $600 for me and my band to become members of the
union.
And
So that you could go out there and do that.
yeah. No, the musicians.
Musicians.
Yeah.
Musician, yeah.
You know, for those of you out there that are listening, the Whiting Auditorium is a major facility here in the city of Flint. And there's about 2,000 capacity in the Whiting.
Yeah. It's beautiful. Oh, and the sound is great in there. I played several. I opened for Ricky Skaggs there.
Ricky Skaggs?
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
I've played the Whiting Auditorium many times. I had a Mother's Day concert there. My mom moved up here, and so I had it was Mother's Day, and I had a concert for all the mothers, especially my mom. And it's just a fantastic place to play.
You know, the Flint Symphony Orchestra plays there. Yeah. It's a beautiful acoustic.
I've only played Whiting one time.
You played the Whiting?
I played at the Whiting Auditorium with Lawrence Welk's band.
Who?
Lawrence Welk.
Oh.
Our a cappella choir was able, our a cappella choir in Flushing at that time was able to go sing with
Wonderful.
Yeah, wonderful, right?
Yeah.
And they had Bobby Burgess, Sissy King, and Myron Florin was there. And in fact, in the back room there at Whiting, I used to get all their autographs and pictures and stuff that they would give out.
Yeah, I imagine.
So I only did that one time.
Brother Wayne, but you're not running for office.
No, I'm
Jesse
not.
Couch is running for office.
No, I'm not.
I know you're helping our public out there. They want to listen to us because you're a personality.
Yes, he is.
But yes, he is. But tell us a little bit more what you're going to do. You know, you're a people's man. You're a God man. You care about the people. I see you've got a few.
What are you going to do for
do?
school safety? What are you going to do for that one?
Well, I honestly, I think that you have one entrance, and you have it like when you're going into the courthouse. You have to go walk through a metal detector, and I think there should be not only one guard. I think there should be two guards with guns at that entrance to take care of any problems. Don't leave the doors open. They left the back door was open.
Wow.
She went out to get her cell phone in her car. So instead of having to come back and go around the front to get back in, she propped the door open so that she could come back. That's what happened.
You want to know something, Jesse? I think these are all orchestrated to get rid of our Second Amendment, our right to bear arms.
I do too. I really do. I think because they keep saying, and I believe this. It's not the gun. It's killing people. It's
No.
the person with the gun. And if you take all the guns away, the bad people are still going to have guns. I mean,
Do you know that one young man in Oxford?
Yeah.
His parents bought him an AK-47, and he took it to school. He's the one that murdered all those children in Oxford. Isn't that sad?
It's sad.
His parents bought it for a Christmas gift.
Well, I did a video.
Never thinking that he was going to use it that way.
No.
Yeah.
I did a video a couple of days ago, as a matter of fact, on Facebook, and was talking
I
about.
seen it was pretty good.
Yeah,
Right?
I was talking about these killings that's taken place, and I attribute it to not only abortion, but also the fact that what you have out there is a murdering spirit. A murdering spirit that enters these kids, and what happens is that these kids go into these chat rooms, because both the guy from that did the tops there at the supermarket, and then this other guy that killed those kids in Alverde, they were both in the same chat room, and they knew each other from the chat room. And so what they do is they got these terrorists have these chat rooms in the internet that these kids get into,
And they
and
motivate them.
then they go and give them money to go out and buy the guns.
You know what,
Yeah.
Brother Wayne? I think a
Brainwash.
lot of these,
Huh?
Brainwashing.
not
Yeah,
just the
brainwash
chat
'em.
rooms, but the gaming. You know, they get used to shooting and killing. You know, and and what you put before your eyes goes into your mind and it goes into
Well,
your
and
heart.
on my video, I said that I don't care how many laws you create, I don't care how many laws you make, it's not going to stop evil, because evil doesn't pay attention to laws.
No.
It doesn't.
It doesn't pay attention to laws. Therefore, it's not the guns that kill people; it's the evil in the person that kills the people.
Now you know where evil originated, don't you? You take the word devil, D-I-V-E-L, and you drop the D and you get evil.
Oh,
Yeah,
never thought about
it's
that.
right in his name.
But
But tell us about what you're gonna do.
well, I one thing I'm going to do
Yes.
is, or one thing I want to do is to make sure that young men are not entered into young ladies' sports. There was the young lady, the swimmer. I think she needed an eighth of a second to break a record. And like Trump said, this male swimmer went by her so fast that she got windburned. He beat it.
Wow.
She was just praying for 1 second. He beat it by 38 seconds.
So you don't believe in having 3 bathrooms?
No, I don't.
His, hers, and theirs.
You believe in the two sexes, man and woman, right?
I believe that God created it, and that's what He wanted.
That's right.
And you know,
And what else are you gonna do? Now we know, Jesse,
teachers can't.
that you'll have bills brought before you, but you could actually originate a bill.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Oh, yeah.
Okay,
And
as a representative. And what are you gonna
I,
that we need today?
I think that teachers should not be allowed to teach my little children sex. You know, I think they were born to man or a male or a female.
In other words,
And
you're getting rid of all the pronouns.
Yeah.
Do you know that Walt Disney was not a nice man? And I was reading an article just yesterday about how they're promoting sexualizing children from kindergarten to 4th grade.
Yeah.
Sexualizing
Yeah,
them.
and then
Subliminally in the things we grew up with.
and when they've got you from kindergarten to the 4th grade, they got you.
That's right.
You've got a mindset now. But I want to keep men out of women's sports.
Men out of women's sports.
And I don't want the teachers teaching my children sex. I don't want them having books in school showing how to masturbate and stuff like this.
That's what
and drag queens going into libraries to teach kids
Yeah. I mean, it's
on
parents'
sexual
right, and I think
stuff.
that we should vote for parents' right. I think
parents' rights.
Parents' right, yes. And I also think we should defend our Second Amendment and our First Amendment.
Our First Amendment is the right what?
The freedom of religion.
Freedom of speech.
Yeah.
For all of us.
Yeah, right.
And shouldn't it also be in you see what some of these social medias, because they're private and they're not government, they don't have to respect the First Amendment right.
Right.
Okay, but would you make it mandatory that they have to respect the First Amendment right? These private institutions.
Well, I think that article is there because they meant it for all of us.
Mhm.
I don't think they meant it for me and not for you and not for Wayne. You know, I think they meant it for all of us. I think that's we have the right to speech and we should be.
Freedom of speech.
Well, I think let me interject something here, Jesse.
Yeah, ask some questions.
The thing is that with freedom of speech, you know, it has limits. Speech has limits. You just can't go out and say whatever you feel. What I'm saying is this: let's say, for instance, that as far as I'm concerned, freedom of speech stops when you come against somebody's character.
Somebody's
yeah,
character. So
It stops there.
You can't put somebody
You
down.
can't call them idiots and that kind of stuff. You can't.
What if
do
they're
that.
doing wrong, Brother Wayne?
Huh? It doesn't matter whether they're doing wrong.
So-
Hey, regardless whether, well, let me say this, regardless whether they're doing wrong or not, you still got to do what's right.
But Brother Wayne, who's going to play God and say what they can say and what they can't say?
I don't think anybody's trying to play God.
No,
I
no.
think
I mean, where's the limit?
the
I mean,
limit,
you're
the limit,
gonna have a green line there.
the limit is that you can't go against somebody's character because God created you. You're made in the image of God. Therefore, when you come against that character, you're coming against God.
So you don't go against their character, but you can go against their policy and what
You
they're
can
doing.
go against their policy. You can
Okay.
go against
All right.
the policies of America. You can do that. You have a right to do that, but you don't have a right to put the person down.
Yeah. Jesse, you were gonna say something you were gonna do about education.
Well, I just think that the parents should have the right over the teacher of what is taught to their children. Common Core. You know what Common Core is?
Yeah,
Do you
sure do.
understand?
No, tell the
Sure do.
public about Common Core.
Do you understand it?
Go ahead.
I don't understand it. I mean, the kids are doing math that don't make any sense.
Right.
It doesn't make any sense. So
They also have changed history through Common Core too.
yeah.
Rewrote
I-
history.
I think the parents have the rights, and that no teacher should be allowed to teach a kid about sex, and they should get rid of the books in the school that
Sexualize our children.
Yeah.
I think with
Yeah.
Common Core, I think what that is for these kids, if they can come up with an answer, no matter whether it's right or wrong, it's okay.
Yeah, right.
That's what the Common Core is.
You know what that sexualizing of children from kindergarten till they're 6-year-old, right?
Yep.
Okay. 6-year-old. After that, you've got their mind.
Yeah, you do.
You've got their
Yeah,
mind.
yes, you do.
But it gets them involved in sex trafficking, gets them involved in pornography. They see that as a common thing when they're sexualized at a young age, Jesse. That's what opens the door to Satan. But
You know,
you mentioned about the parents. So the parents would have the right to tell the school what to do.
I think they should.
When they come in and they have a parent-teacher conference, and I remember those. I used to shake when my mother or dad would go to a parent-teacher conference because they'd talk to my teacher and they'd find out everything that I'm doing in school.
You know, stop and think about this. Those teachers wouldn't get paid if it wasn't for you.
Yeah.
You're paying their salary. You are their boss.
Mhm.
So these townships, the school systems in these townships, these people are paying for that school systems from their taxes, their
Yeah,
property
they
taxes.
built it. They built the school years ago. Their tax money paid to build that school. It pays to finance the superintendent and all these people. They work for you, really.
Okay.
You know,
Right.
and, I
You know,
think-
that would relieve a lot if what you're saying is correct, and I have no reason to disbelieve. It would relieve a lot of parents from homeschooling if they knew the schools were going to teach proper education.
Well,
That's
the
true.
problem with
That's
public schools now is they're indoctrinating kids. That's
Yeah,
why
yes,
a
they
lot
are.
of people are going to homeschooling because of the fact they don't want their kids to be indoctrinated with the
Mhm.
socialism that
I
they're
agree.
putting.
That's
letting
right.
out.
And it all started in the 60s. They wanted the blacks against the whites, and they couldn't do what Russian Revolution. So they
Mhm.
figured they'd get into the businesses, they get into the social medias, they get it into their mind. By the time they're 6 years old, a child is already developed 90% of
Well, I think
their
that
being.
I
Right,
think
Jesse?
I agree.
I think that all this started back in the 60s when you had the revolutionaries going around, blowing up and taking over schools. And then you had the women's rights movement going on and abortion rights and all this stuff going on in the 60s. And what's happened is it's changed the way people look at each other.
But Brother
And,
Wayne,
and the family has been assassinated.
yeah,
The family values have been assassinated.
destroying the nuclear family,
That's right.
making everybody an individual.
That's
But
right.
they failed miserably. That's why they're using subliminal messages.
Yeah, it took them 40, 50 years to fail, though.
Yeah. Jesse, what other things that you believe that's going to come before your chair there as a
Well-
representative of the state of Michigan?
Well, those are the things that I think are really important. Free speech,
Free speech.
God, guns, oil, fund the police, stop these mail-out ballots. Only if you need to have a mail-in ballot. I mean, and when I say that, I think a handicapped person or a senior that can't get around and still wants to vote should be allowed.
Or the people in the cemeteries.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
It's hard for them to get to the polls.
God, do you know how many dead people voted?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my gosh.
And you know what they said, the Democrats? Oh, that's okay. It was only so many thousand. You know, some of these elections are won by hundreds of votes.
You know, another thing, the hunters and the fishermen. Michigan has a lot of hunters and a lot of
Yeah,
Oh,
natural
yeah.
resources.
and they're always passing some kind of a bill to affect those hunters or affect those fishermen as far as money is concerned.
Yeah,
And I think somebody should be there to back up those fishermen and hunters. And
that's who you are.
that's who I
You're
am.
going to be there. And
Yes,
you
sir.
know, a lot of these townships are some natural resources, rivers and streams
Yeah.
and different. What about the parks? What are you going to do about the parks?
Mm.
They've been failing over the last probably 20 years.
Well, you know, Reverend, I'm not going to lie to you. I don't know about the parks, but once I get in there, I have a feeling I'll learn about the parks, and then I'll vote with my heart.
Your conscience.
What the people want, that's
Yeah.
what we would try to do. You know,
Mhm.
my conscience, yeah, and taking in fact, like Emily called, she was concerned about something,
Yeah.
and we tried to answer her question the best we could.
But you know, there's a lot of people out there that are kind of chagrined to call. And we want to try to help answer their questions.
Yeah, and well, they should. You know, you should call. This line should be burning up,
Mhm.
and that's what you guys are here for.
That's right.
Is to answer their questions. So they
And
should
educate them.
they should make that phone call and let you try to answer their questions, or let me try to answer the questions.
You know, aside from you being my and Wayne's best friend, okay, and we've known you over the years, you're a man of God. We wanted you to be able to talk to the people
Well, it's.
and
I-
use our.
I wish.
I'm not a preacher.
No,
I consider myself. I've entertained in churches. I've sang. God, I don't know how
And
many.
you sang a couple of my songs on one of your cassettes.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, my gospel songs.
What are they?
Oh shoot, I can't even think of the name of them right now.
I shouldn't have asked you. I'm
But
sorry.
but
Yeah, you
what I'm
stumble.
saying is this is that I look at Jesse as an effective leader instead of just an elected leader.
effective leader instead of
Effective
elected leader.
leader.
That's a good slogan. Effective leader rather than elected leader.
And
Right.
That's what I want to be, is an effective leader. I want to be someone that gets things done and works hard on getting things done. What the people want.
Right. Well, you know, a lot of people sit there and say and take these issues and say, well, this is this issue and this is moral issues. We don't need moral issues. We need this. Now, wait a minute. I believe that once you correct the moral issues, the rest of them will fall in line.
Yes, they will.
They
You know,
will
brother
fall
Wayne,
right in line.
if Jesse gets elected, we're gonna have a hotline to Lansing.
Yeah,
His
they-
local office. We'll be able to, have him come out on occasion. Would you come out after you're elected and
sure.
talk to the people?
You got to do that.
We appreciate it.
You
We
know, and
appreciate
not
it.
only that, what you just said is true. You elect me, then you have a voice in Lansing.
Right.
I will be your voice.
Mhm.
I will speak for you what you want said. We can't all go to Lansing.
Not just a voice, but a loud one.
And
Yeah.
you know what though?
Louder than I am.
Jesse, you'll be our representative
Yes.
in Lansing,
State-
in the House, state
state-
representative.
Yes, that's right. And
Well, mention the townships again, and then I'd like you to say one last word, but go ahead.
okay. To start with, it's Clayton Township.
Yeah.
It's Clio, Michigan, Flint Township, Flushing Township, Montrose Township, Mount Morris Township, and Swartz Creek. And the primary will be August the 2nd. Yeah, you got to go vote
In the primary,
in the
to
primary.
have you there on the ballot in November,
And the general election is November 8th.
November 8th.
Yeah, and then you'll be voting at where you normally vote.
But like I say, the August 2nd is for Democratic primary, right?
No, actually it's for him. He's going to be in the primary. Yeah.
He's already won his primary.
Well, I know, but normally
He has to run.
I would have you be running against me or something, and I'd have to beat you. I'm
In the
just
primary.
fortunate because this is a new district.
Oh, so you're
Yeah.
saying, what you're saying is that August 2nd is for the Republican primary.
It's for
No,
both.
if he
It's
had
for both.
opposition,
It's for
the
Demo-
primary, right? If he had opposition.
Wait a minute, let me speak.
Yeah,
Yeah, but that's what he's saying.
yeah. The primary is to elect who's going to run in the general. Okay, I'm fortunate.
You
that
don't
I-
have opposition.
I don't have any opposition, but
Yeah.
there'll be Democrats and Republicans. You can go vote, and everybody should go vote. By the way,
Everybody can vote.
you know,
that primary.
the off years, a lot of times people don't pay any attention to them. And then they end up saddled with somebody that they don't really want in there, and they say, "How did he get in there?" Well, you didn't
Yeah.
vote. You should have went to the polls and voted, and that would be August.
But your
the
name
2nd.
isn't going to be on the ballot on.
Yeah.
Yes.
It will
Yes,
be?
It will be.
Yeah.
It will be. You see, it's a midterm
What is it, a
election.
Republican Democrat primary?
That's right.
Yeah, it's
That's
both.
right.
Oh, okay.
It's just like the presidential.
Oh, okay. I see what you're saying now, that that the people from them go on to the general election.
Yeah, the
You see, a lot of times they change these things. That's why Brother Wayne didn't know about it. But anyways, because if you'd had opposition, it would be more important.
the Democrats select their representative to run, and the Republicans select their, and then in the general election they go
And
ahead.
they go against each other. Yeah.
Head-
Jesse, what's one last thing, because we're almost end of our time here. What's one last thing that you're going to tell your people, your constituents, the people that are going to send you to Lansing in the 69th district?
Well, the one thing I'd like to say is when I get into office, I'm taking God with me,
Okay.
That's right.
and I want
Very
y'all-
good.
Let 'em-
I want y'all to know that if we're going to do all these things. You know, gasoline 2 years ago was $1.87 a gallon.
Yeah, I know. And you'll have a hand in that because Michigan's
Yes.
got a lot of fuel oil.
Yes, and
Yes.
I think we should. You know, I don't think Biden should have ever done all of
The XL pipeline.
Yeah, the pipeline. He went in there, and somebody told him evidently, you got to get rid of everything that Trump did,
Regardless of good or bad.
good or bad. You get rid of it. And
Yeah.
so, but anyway, when I get in office, I'll have a poster on my wall that says, "We respect Jesus," and we want
Amen.
Mhm.
and I don't know exactly how I'll word that, but I'll get it worded and it'll be on my wall. And so when you come to my office, which you will have an open door.
Open door.
You come
Whether
in-
it be locally here or
Yeah.
in Lansing.
yeah, and you know, some people can't come to Lansing, so I will be coming here
Mhm.
and meeting people at the restaurant at the Coney Island
Or at your local office. I'm
Yeah,
sure they're going to have
local
it.
office.
On your days off, you're going to do karaoke, right?
Sure.
Well,
I'm not going to quit singing.
yeah. Well, what we'd like to do is we'd like to say a vote for Jesse Couch is a vote for morality, is a vote for the people, his constituents, is a vote for you to have in the Michigan State House of Representatives a representative, just like the word says, to represent you.
Amen.
Those things. Well, Jesse, would you help us? Usually at the end of our programs, we like to lead people to the Lord, which salvation is probably the most important thing. The next most important thing is finances that the Lord talked about.
Amen.
But if you bow your heads, close your eyes, and repeat after me. Lord Jesus,
Lord Jesus,
I thank you
I thank you
for a personal faith
for a personal faith
that you are the Son of God
that you are the Son of God
and my Lord
and my Lord
and my Savior.
and my Savior.
I believe that you died,
I believe that you died,
you were buried,
you were buried,
and you rose on the third day.
and you rose on the third day.
And because I believe it,
And because I believe it,
I'm born again.
I'm born again.
As you receive me, Jesus,
As you receive me, Jesus,
I receive you.
I receive you.
In Jesus' name.
In Jesus'
And
name,
all God's children say, Amen and
Amen.
amen. And you must
Amen.
respect the gospel. And thank you for tuning in.
Thank you,
Our
Jesse.
next program, actually,
Thank you,
Brother
Wayne.
Jesse, we've got a patriot coming in on June the 7th, Lakeisha Guy. She's going to be coming in. You know where I met her? Watching the preview, the pre-showing of the 2000 Jackasses or Mules.
Oh,
Yes. And she's a true patriot. And we're going to have her here on June the 7th at 11 o'clock to 12. So share this podcast with your family, your friends, and your enemies.
and don't forget
Why?
to get out and vote on
Yeah.
the 2nd.
Because your enemies
Of August.
just might become your brothers and
Amen.
sisters in Christ. And
That's
vote for Jesse Couch in the 69 district.
Thank
Take
you,
care.
Emily.
Be blessed. And we'll see you on the 7th of June.
Thank you for calling in, Emily.
at the way Jesus loves me. I stand amazed at the way that He cares. When He said He loved me forever, through all eternity, I stand amazed at the way He loves me.